Chat! Chat! I'm back. And today we're going to do something. We're going to do something that nobody else bothered to do. Well, except for Steak, but Steak's my guy, you know. We are going to be rewatching the presidential debate. You know, the one that happened last night. How about it, guys? All right, let me just pull the debate up. And if you did not know, I am against Donald Trump. I am a man of the people. I have no sexism. I only know just because I'm an American. No, I'm joking.
I'm a real musician.
Hey,
shut up!
I want Kamala first. Because, like, the first female president. Let's get into it. Presidential debate. Let's go. Okay, buddy. Dude. I don't have time to wait, little bro.
President Kamala Harris, this is her first debate since President Biden withdrew from the race on July 21st. Of course, that decision followed his debate against President Donald Trump in June. Since then, this race has taken on an entirely new dynamic.
And that brings us to the rules of tonight's debate. 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks. No topics or questions have been shared with the campaigns. The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer questions, and this is the clock. That's what they'll be seeing. 2 minutes for rebuttals and 1 minute for follow-ups, clarifications, or responses. Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak. No pre-written notes allowed.
Kamala,
there is no audience here tonight in this hall at the National Constitution Center. This is an intimate setting for 2 candidates who have never met.
President Trump won the coin toss. He chose to deliver the final closing statement of the evening. Vice President Harris selected the podium to the right.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
I'm sorry, guys. Pause this. I just checked my phone and it says that I have a comment that I haven't seen yet, which is interesting. Here, let me look. It's on my Kamala versus Trump edit that I made a bit ago. It didn't even take me that long to make this new one. Here, let me just take a look-see. Go Kamala! All right. Sorry. There are no comments. I don't know why it says that there are comments, but go hook. Type in chat. Who's better, Kamala or Trump? Kamala stumps. Chat. You also check out my YouTube page. My YouTube shorts are pretty fire. All right, let's get back into the video.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
See, have fun.
Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you.
That
it's an
was
honor to have you
respectful.
both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful debate.
So let's get started. I want to begin to for follow-ups, clarifications,
Let me
or
see that
responses.
again.
Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak. No pre-written notes allowed. There is no audience here tonight in this hall at the National Constitution Center. This is an intimate setting for 2 candidates who have never met.
President Trump won the coin toss. He chose to deliver the final closing statement of the evening. Vice President Harris selected the podium to the right.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Go Kamala! Go Kamala! Go Kamala! No sexism.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
See, have fun.
Thank you.
That was so sweet.
Welcome to you both.
That
It's
was
wonderful to have
sweet,
you. It's an
Chad.
honor to have you both here tonight.
Go
Good
Kamala! Go
evening.
Kamala!
We are looking
No
forward to a
sexism.
spirited and thoughtful debate.
Don't
So let's
be
get started.
homophobic.
I want to begin
Don't
tonight with
be
the issue that
sexist.
voters repeatedly say is their number
Everybody
one
matters,
issue, and that is
except
the
for
economy
furries.
and the cost of living in this country.
You
Vice
furries.
President
Ugh.
Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
No.
So I was
Wait.
raised as a middle class kid.
Wait, was that the wrong answer?
And I am actually
Sorry, I
the
wasn't
only
thinking.
person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class
Kamala,
and
go
working
Kamala.
people of America.
People now.
I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the
Trump.
dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing.
Go Kamala!
We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax
Kamala.
credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford
Go.
to buy a crib, buy
Oh,
a car
whoopsie.
seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my
Come on.
sister and me,
Come on.
but there was a woman
Go,
who helped
come on.
raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to startup small businesses,
Yeah!
knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations,
Screw you,
which will
Trump.
result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month.
What?
Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas.
Let me pause this really quick. Guys, this is proof. This is straight proof that Donald Trump is scamming all of us. He's a bozo. Why? Why is Donald Trump doing this? Like, dude, there are so many other good things to do with your life. So you're rich. So what? You just want more money. Big guy, pumpkin. You freaking pumpkin. Look, Trump, buddy, you can't do anything in real life. You're trying to make people white and straight. All people don't have to be white and straight, dude. Black people have rights too. Homophobic people. Ew, disgusting. You're homophobic, Trump. Homophobia is not tolerated. And I'm straight, by the way. I'm saying that with all straightedness. Straightness. Straighted. Whatever. Screw you, Trump. Go Kamala. Go Kamala. Go Kamala. I want to have free rights to work out whenever I want. And that's all through Kamala. Proof that I work out. Chat. Go Kamala. Donald Trump is just trying to take away rights from people who aren't white and straight. Like, dude, everybody matters, my guy. Anybody from any religion matters. And I'm Christian. I believe that Jesus is my Lord and Savior. Because he is. Like, and Trump, when you got shot in the ear, like, dude, it's not God's fault. God didn't help you. Because guess what? God didn't help Jesus Christ, his son. God didn't help Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ died and was crucified on the cross for our sins. And then he rose on the third day. On the third day, you were just standing there yapping. You can't do anything, Trump. Let's get back into this.
About what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries.
Shut up, Trump. It's not a false statement. It's literally listed in Project 2025, which is already passed by the Supreme Court. I am voting for Kamala. There is no way I'm not voting for Kamala, buddy. Pumpkin. Buddy, the sales taxes are literally a thing. It's listed in 2025, Project 2025, which is already passed by the Supreme Court. So if you become if you become President Trumpy Dumpy, then black people lose rights. LGBTQ people lose rights. Dude, that's not okay. Let people be people, gosh darn it. Idiot. Let's get back into this.
Countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And
We? No, pumpkin. Pumpkin. You big old pumpkin. There is no we. You're a disgrace to presidents. Pumpkin. But Kamala over here, she's about to be the first female president. Yeah! No sexism. No sexism. No homophobia. Shout out to all my LGBTQ people. And shout out to all my colored people out there. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for staying alive. Thank you guys for supporting Kamala Harris. Because most colored people are voting Kamala Harris because why not? And they're people too. They are human beings. They don't deserve to have less rights. Here, let me do a poll in chat. Sorry. I don't have my keyboard up right now. Trump or Kamala? I'm going Kamala.
tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took in billions and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't. It would totally destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in billions of dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has, which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%. But
that's interesting. That's interesting that you bring up inflation. It's really interesting that you bring up inflation right now because you're the one who's trying to raise taxes for the poor even. This is why I made my Trump versus Biden, Trump versus Kamala edit. Go Kamala! Go Kamala! Go Kamala! Go Kamala! Go Kamala! Kamala! What the heck? Sorry, my cat just jumped up and scratched my leg. Chat, what the Sigma? Y'all better not type LCAT. Bro, it's a WCAT, I swear. Cats are better than dogs, is a fact. But we're not discussing that right now. We'll discuss that another day. Today we're discussing Trump or Kamala.
But that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a
Well, I wonder whose fault that is.
disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums.
Oh, you're being racist now. Oh, okay, I see. Now you're being racist. Oh, the people are pouring in from the mental institute and from the jail. Shut up.
And they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon.
Okay, now you're bringing race into this. Oh my gosh, Trump. Trump, can you shut up? Please. Donald J. Trump, can you please shut up? Dude, there's literally no reason for you to do this because, I mean, what the heck, dude? That's so racist.
Very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado.
Only in Ohio, whoa. Only in Ohio, whoa. Only in Ohio, whoa. Sorry, chat, just fixing the camera. I love Ohio, by the way. Shout out to my boys in Ohio.
They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that Xi and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level.
So, because Kamala is a Hispanic, you're saying this stuff that she led them into this country. She did not lead them into this country. They have rights. They have rights to be Americans just as much as you do, Trump.
Level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get.
I'll tell you one thing Trump says. The immigrants, they're coming in and they're eating our pets. He does eventually say that. Oh, Kamala looks like she's about to go mad.
Get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on that here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump.
Oh, god dang, bro. That's a whole nother level of disrespect there, Trump. What are you gonna do? Look at me like you looked at your mugshot, buddy? Buddy, what are you gonna do? You're a felon. You're a felon. What do you think you're gonna do, bro? You ain't gonna do crap to me. You ain't gonna do crap to Kamala. You're a felon, buddy. You should be in jail by now. What, 50 felonies? Maybe more?
Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a...
Yeah! Knock off Obama. Trump, he thinks he's Obama. Trump is not Obama. Kamala is the closest thing to Obama. Let's go.
Century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you all in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe
Well. Look at what we have here, Trump. You just got owned. Project 2025, huh? Huh? So it's confirmed. It was passed by the Supreme Court. What now? What now, Trump? What now?
I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not.
Headphone users, please turn your sound down. That's a warning, by the way. Boy, you better shut your pumpkin looking face, bro. Bro, why the frick did it say your name under Project 2025 on the literal freaking page? It was passed by the Supreme Court by none other than freaking you. Well, guess what, buddy? We're not falling for the lies. You do not get to keep lying to us. You are the one who passed this the law to the Supreme Court. You are a sexist, a homophobic, a hog, a lying pig, and a sinner. Guess what, buddy? We don't got the time of day for you, pumpkin. Freaking Cheeto Puff. An off-brand Cheeto Puff. That's what he is. All he's spouting is lies. He knows about Project 2025. He 100% knows because he's the one who tried to pass the law to the Supreme Court. Can you shut up, Trump? Sorry to all headphone users.
I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas. I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an
good. Literally every single thing in there is negative.
Open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with a pandemic, and the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic.
100 million people died. 1970. I don't recall that. I don't recall learning that back in my old school days. I don't recall learning that, Trump. Are you talking about the 1930s? Because I'm pretty sure the World War II wasn't until 1930s. And either way, COVID did not spread to the U.S. in 1917. Are you talking about yellow fever? Yellow fever was much before that. Yellow fever was like in the 1820s. Around that time. Okay, Trump.
Pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in.
Speaking of the stock market, aren't you the one who promised us all free stocks? Trump. Look at it now. Come on. You never stay true to your word. You're just spouting out lies and nonsense. Can you, for once, be honest? You pathetic excuse for a dictator. Screw you, Trump. You're so sexist, Trump. You're homophobic, too. And those are the many reasons why I hate you. Just kidding, I don't hate him. I wish the best for him. But I dislike him and I do not approve of his actions. I don't hate him because hate is a sin. Alright, let's keep going.
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse, mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit.
Yes, and did you know that actually Taylor Swift has endorsed Kamala Harris? Endorsed meaning, well, shared to all her supporters that she will be voting for Kamala Harris. I do not want this excuse for a pumpkin to be president. Hold on, let's see how my stream's going. Well, share to all their supporters. All right. Guys, check my YouTube. What do you mean, Twitch? Stop yapping, Twitch. W Trump edit. I mean, Trump against Kamala edit. Kamala's the GOAT. I take the time of day to make these amazing edits for you guys, and they barely get noticed. Interesting. Okay. Let's check the views on my latest video. Oh! Let's get Burrito Bandits, the video Burrito Bandits, up to 30K views. Let's get Burrito Bandits up to 30K views. All right, let's keep going. Oh, whoops.
16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession.
Yeah.
You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
True.
That's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences. like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill.
She does. She explained the plan in one of her recent rallies. Well, of course you wouldn't know about that, Trump, because you're a pumpkin.
Down on something you both brought up. The vice president brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe
$4,000 a year is not bad? Wait, no. Wait, let me think about it for a second. Okay, let me think about my payments. Okay, yeah, that's bad. Never mind. Wait, what payment did she say that was? Was that just tax?
Doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The vice president brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000.
Okay. I thought it was talking about my down payment. No. This isn't about my down payment, buddy. Trump, you're disgusting.
A year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only
ripping us off? You said you're friends with Kim Jong-un, president of North Korea, and you're friends with Putin, leader of Russia. I thought you said those things. This is the chat, by the way. You should type in chat. Okay.
President ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else. The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look at a poll. The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to ask for your response, and you heard what the president said there, because the Biden administration did keep...
Kitty. Chat. Let go, you little monkey. Kitty. Type W Kitty in the chat. Oh, so cute little kitty. Oh, little kitty. Kitty, what do you have to say about this? Oh, yes, that's very intelligent of you. My cat is a very sophisticated cat. Very sophisticated cat. I asked him what he thinks on all of this rambunctious barbarianish violence. Kitty says hi. Hey, Kitty, say hi. Kitty, say hi to the viewers. Type W Kitty in chat. Twitch, look at this. Twitch and YouTube, look at the kitty. Oh. No, get off my keyboard. Oh, he's so cute, though. Chat, type W Kitty. It's a skibbity kitty. Well, thank you for being in my stream, Kitty. Here you go. Bye-bye, Kitty. Bye-bye, Kitty. All right, let's get back to the stream.
A number of Trump tariffs in place. So how do you respond?
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America. He invited trade wars. You want to talk about his deal with China? What he ended up doing is, under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out, when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that we win the race on AI, on quantum computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having, on the short end of the stick, in terms of workers' rights. But
Kamala is spitting facts. Kamala is spitting straight facts.
what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught her well. But when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21, that's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country.
First, can I just clarify that New York is not a state?
They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban, because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor, who's doing an excellent job, but the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice presidential pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states.
Excuse me? That's a lie. Dude, you've been spouting lies the entire time. Dude, this is not helping your case, Trump. This is not helping your case whatsoever. At this point, you're insulting yourself by just saying these very obvious lies.
And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do.
What? Keep going. That's interesting. What's that?
Exceptions, very important.
Project
but we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal.
Only in Ohio. Whoa.
Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade. As President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes.
Trump? Did I just hear Trump interrupt? Copper! Kitty. This kitty is named Copper. I love this kitty. Now shoot, kitty. I love you, kitty. Kiss me, kitty. Well, nah, I'm just joking. I'm not a zoophile. I'm straight. Back to the stream. Let's go.
Goes again. It's a lie. I'm not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart. And they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to
Well, I
your
won't
desk?
have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50 and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe. The student loans, and then I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out and said, we'll do it again. We'll do it a different way. And he went out, got rejected again by the Supreme Court. So all these students got taunted with this whole thing about this whole idea. And how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about.
Well, no crap, buddy. No wonder they didn't get it for free. College isn't free. You have to pay to have amazing education. I'm sure you know that by now because you have, like, the most money of really anybody. Greedy orange man.
About that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D. And I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it, just like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. Well, wonderful. Let's go to Congress, do it. But the fact is that for years they wanted to get it out of Congress and out of the federal government. And we did something that everybody said couldn't be done. And now you have a vote of the people on abortion.
Vice President Harris, I want to give you your time to respond, but I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. What is happening in our country? Working people, working women, who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state to get on a plane sitting next to strangers, to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, and that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I
thank
have
you.
to respond. Another lie.
Excuse me. Shut up, orange man.
It's another lie. I have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF, I have been a leader. In fact, when they got a very negative decision on IVF from the Alabama courts, I saw the people of Alabama and the legislature.
No, you did not, I'm afraid. That's another lie from Trump. One of the, probably the 100th lie from him. He's lied a lot this debate. Yeah, dang, bruh. He has been yapping. Trumpy Dumpy needs to chill out. Chat. Rate Kitty on rate Kitty on a scale of 1 to 10. Is Kitty good or is Kitty bad? My kitty.
Legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on fertilization, IVF. And the other thing, you should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you
That's
answer
the
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question,
you
would you
could
veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the governor for.
No, you can't. That's legally impossible. Abortions are only allowed from from months 1 to 5. Abortion is only allowed from months 1 to 5. And after that, it's not legal. You cannot have abortion after the child is 9 months old. Idiot.
Former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn now to immigration and border security. We know it's an issue that's important to Republicans, Democrats, voters across the board in this country. Vice President Harris, you were tasked by President Biden with getting to the root causes of migration from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start having his question and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first. And I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your
I
response.
would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let's to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's a reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies, history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going
No, what happened 6 years ago, I'm afraid.
to end up in World War III. Just to go into another subject, what they...
Pumpkin Man, you can't be talking right now. Look at that facial expression. Nah. Buddy, Trump, you're not funny. You never will be funny. Go Kamala! Go Kamala! This is America! We don't want to make it a new North Korea or South Korea, whatever Kim Jong-un is here, leader of. Here, let me search it up. Dang it. Sorry. North Korea. Yep, I was right. The leader of North Korea is Kim Jong-un.
They have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as...
I think we've seen enough. Well, I'm going to have to cut the stream off now. Now that we've gotten to the point where it's actually shown, Trump says, the immigrants, they're eating our pets. The immigrants don't eat the pets. They're just trying to live a normal life. Shut the heck up, Trump. I'm cutting the stream off. Thank you guys for watching, and have an amazing day.